What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles. You're listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Share with a friend and share with a friend. Let's get into some real talk. All right, boom. I'm going to start this off talking about the Eagles, and then we will get into the Sixers. It was some crazy NBA news that happened today, and people have been talking about this certain guy being linked to the Sixers. And I'm saying no. But let's start off with them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I heard Amon St. Brown say that he wants to face the Eagles week 1. I want to too, because the Eagles will thrash the Lions. Mind you, this is the team that everybody said was going to run through the NFC, that they were the prohibitive favorite, and that it was a foregone conclusion that they would go to the Super Bowl. And Lions fans and the Lions as a whole, they remind me of the Clippers in 2020 when you had the Lakers and the Clippers rivalry kind of, and it was like, all right, they're going to meet in the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers, like the Eagles, they did their part, and they're waiting for them. And when what happened? The Lions did not do their part, and actually, the Lions folded first. And then the Eagles did the job. It was kind of like, bruh, I'm trying to damp you up. I'm trying to see you right here. You're leaving me hanging, bruh. So the Lions and the Clippers are very similar. The Clippers in 2020, because they're talking all this stuff, bro. And whether it's injuries or COVID-19 for the Clippers, whatever the case may be, it's some excuse. When you were the prohibitive favorite. I'm not trying to hear about injuries when you were the prohibitive favorite. I'm not trying to hear that. So Amon St. Brown, I hope that y'all play at Lincoln Financial Field week 1, because we will show you what a real defense is. Because if your quarterback, Jared Goff, had three picks against the Commanders, what's going to happen against the Eagles, bruh? What's going to happen when this guy, Jared Goff, gets some pressure with Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith? Hell, it might be Walter Nolan. You never know. Or Malachi Starks. I don't know. One of those guys is going to be a freaking day for the Eagles defense. And best believe all those players on this Eagles offense, from Saquon to AJ to Devontae to Hurts to the offensive line, they're psychos, bro. I mean, Lane Johnson is a psycho. He literally put on his locker, speaking of the Lions, when Penei Sewell was picked first team All-Pro, he put on his locker that same day or the day after the stats, and it clearly showed who really deserved first team All-Pro. So not only Amon St. Brown, are you really lighting a fire for this Eagles team, you're also just giving us more ammunition that was already there from the start. Because I heard all last season that Jared Goff was better than Jalen Hurts. I heard all last season that Jared Goff, he is going to perform better in the playoffs because he is a better thrower of the football than Jalen Hurts. We heard it all. We heard that Amon St. Brown is better than A.J. Brown. We heard that the two-punch of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, all the stuff, the offensive line for the Lions, we heard it all. So, again, I hope that the Eagles face the Lions so we can go ahead and put belt to ass. That's a certified fact. And I'll say this too. This kind of brings me to this comparison with Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. I believe Jalen Hurts is better than Brock Purdy, but I don't believe that you can support Jalen Hurts and also hate on Brock Purdy. You can't support Jalen Hurts and then with Brock Purdy say he's being carried by his weapons. You got to be consistent. You got to be fair. I'm fair. My problem with the sports discourse is that we've gotten to a point that somebody who has talent around them and they produce, that's a knock. But if somebody doesn't win, but puts up stats with less talent around them, that's highly regarded. That's actually like looked at in a higher regard compared to somebody who produces with a great team around him. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't, because I'm still taking the person who produces every single time. That's simply what it is. And so when I look at Jalen Hurts versus Brock Purdy, I'm saying these are both guys that they have produced at an elite level with great pieces around them. I believe Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in the game. He's over Tua. He's over Jared Goff for damn sure. I think him and Baker is kind of a toss up. It's kind of who you like. But outside of Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy is what, top 4 quarterback in the NFC? He consistently outplays Dak Prescott every single time he plays him. He just does. He just does. Is he elite? He's not elite, but is he very good? Yes. Yes. And he should get some respect. So, yes, we're going to give Brock Purdy that respect. He should get paid. It's not his fault that the 49ers paying these guys as old and all this stuff. No, I done took you to an NFC championship. I bailed y'all out because y'all traded all them picks for Trey Lance. How about you go ahead and pay me? And I brought y'all to a Super Bowl. What's up? So I feel like us as Hurts supporters, we should go out here and show Brock Purdy some love in that aspect, bro. We talking about football in all aspects. That's what that is. I want to say this too. I saw this online and stuff. So the Cowboys fan, it's a Cowboys fan, and he is the mayor. Yeah, here it is. So I was so delighted when I saw an Eagles fan call out the Upper Darby mayor for being a Cowboys fan at a council meeting. Bravo. Bravo. For real. Because I could not trust any elected official. I don't care if you're red. I don't care if you're blue. If you're purple, yellow, I don't care what you are. If you are a Cowboys fan in the city of Philadelphia, I have to assume that you're going to backstab me. Look, Sherelle Parker misspelled Eagles. She's dragged every single day for it. Every single day. We do not play about our sports. We don't. We do not. They was trying to go out here and make the Sixers arena in Chinatown. We threw a fit. We threw a fit because what is y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And so I cannot trust any elected official, bro, that is a Cowboys fan. And every time I see that Upper Darby mayor, I haven't seen him before, but if I do, I'm going to say something because, like, why? You should just lie and just be like, you know what, bro? Like, I'm an Eagles fan, and then you're a closeted Cowboys fan, bro. But I can't. No. And so, bravo. The guy who called him out, his name is Richard Bly, Blye, and he's a community activist, counselor, regular, all this stuff. He showed real courage, real bravery, and he is not only an activist for Philly, he's an activist for the whole entire America for what he did, bruh. Because these Cowboys fans, that they got that ick. They got that ick. And speaking of Eagles fans, speaking of die-hard Eagles fans, Gilly the Kid should announce the Eagles draft pick, whether it's the first round and damn sure the second round. Either one. I don't know if Roger Goodell just does the first round. That's cool. He do that. But Gilly the Kid should call out the Eagles' second round pick. He better. He better. I've seen OG everywhere. Everywhere. After every game, I do my video. I refresh Instagram. Go on and on. Uh, uh, uh. Like, come on, bro. So it's only right that Gilly the Kid. I mean, I was at the Packers game. I'm seeing this man go out the tunnel with the team. The heck? And the best part is, we know that with Gilly, he's going to troll everybody. He'll troll Dak. He'll troll the Cowboys. He's for damn sure trolling the Giants. He's trolling everybody. The Bummanders, who you want, where you want it, we're going to troll. That's what Gilly's going to do. We need to advocate, support, and make sure it is known that Gilly better be there. Better be in Green Bay. I think that's where it's at. And go out there and be like, all right, I'm calling that pick out. And you best believe if Gilly is calling out that pick got the blessing from Philadelphia royalty. And we know that pick is going to be good. We know it is. And later this month, probably like next week, we'll do our top 30 visits video. And we'll talk about all the guys that got top 30 visits. And we'll talk about all the draft picks and do a mock draft for the Eagles. That's going to be a great, great thing to see. And just covering all that stuff. And I would love to get y'all's opinion on that. Eagles, 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 all day, every day. I got a couple more things, bro, on the Eagles. Then we'll get to the Sixers. Justin Simmons. So Justin Simmons is making it known that he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I mean, I don't think you can really understate how much he wants to be an Eagle. I mean, Vic Fangio is his dog. Christian Parker, the defensive backs coach for the Eagles, that's his dog too. He had success with them in Denver. I'm looking at his stats in the 5 seasons with those guys. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 23 interceptions, 51 pass breakups, and a combined 408 tackles. Now, it's worth noting that last year, Justin Simmons, and this ties back into everything. Last year, Justin Simmons was signed to the Atlanta Falcons in August. This is that. I mean, August is a ways away, but he was signed in August. This is important because the reason why the Eagles haven't signed Justin Simmons yet is because they want to wait until after the draft to sign him. Because if they sign him before the draft, then one of their comp picks is going to be taken away from them. It's going to like cancel out. And so it makes the most sense for Justin Simmons, who has clearly shown that he wants to be in Philly. He wants to reunite with his coaches, to wait it out. Just relax. Unless somebody gives him a bag, which I mean, I guess it could happen. But if he didn't get signed at this point, I mean, you might as well just wait for Philly to be done the draft, all that stuff. And then after the draft, he gets signed. And speaking on the field, I think signing Justin Simmons brings vet leadership, which is good. I think he helps Sidney Brown reach his potential. I think it's worth noting that if you have a guy in Justin Simmons that flourished under Christian Parker and under Vic Fangio, that's damn near the perfect teacher for Sidney Brown to go ahead and have an opportunity to take the reins and start. And if Sidney Brown is not ready, we got an insurance policy in Justin Simmons. Kind of similar, not the same thing, but that insurance policy is exactly what Adoree Jackson is to Keely Ringo. Because the goal is for Keely Ringo to be the cornerback 2 opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. And the goal is to keep Cooper DeJean at the nickel spot. Vic Fangio has made that abundantly clear. Now, if Keely Ringo, who I expect he's going to step up, have a breakout year, and prove the doubters wrong. Let's just say he starts off slow or he just doesn't perform. The reason why the Eagles brought back Adoree Jackson is so, well, if Kelee Ringo isn't ready, we got a vet who we can trust to be serviceable. He's not going to be trash. He might not have the best ceiling, but his floor is good enough. You feel me? Now, the best case scenario is you got Kelee Ringo, who's 6'2", ran like a 4.3. Like, he's the guy that in his third year, he goes out here and blossoms and all that stuff. But we got that insurance policy. So that definitely brings us to our last point with Cooper DeJean. Like, I think it's great that Vic Fangio is making it clear that Cooper DeJean is going to stay at the nickel. Bro, he was sensational. He finished his rookie year. Mind you, he sat out like the first 4 or 5 games because he got injured in training camp or before the season started, with 50 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 3 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble, and in the playoffs, he had 18 tackles, 4 pass breakups, a fumble recovery, and en route to the Super Bowl, he did all this stuff. And then in the Super Bowl, he had a pick six, the most iconic pick six in Eagles history, maybe the most iconic pick six. Okay. Definitely, I'm not even going to say of all time because James Harrison. Sometimes I got to reel myself back in because I be drawn a little bit and I got to just go out there. But he had the most iconic pick in Eagles freaking history. So, yes, Cooper DeJean better stay in the nickel. And the best case scenario, like I said before, is for Kelee Ringo to step up, which he will prove the doubters wrong and go out there and be opposite to Quinyon on the outside, bro. The whole goal of this is for Vic Fangio and his guys to maximize the most out of these young players who are on their rookie deals, because there are other guys like a Noah, I guess Noah Smith, yeah, but a Jalen Carter, Noah Smith, guys that, hey, bruh, got to pay these guys, bruh. So that's really what it is. Let's get into this Sixers talk. Y'all. All right. Mike Malone got fired. They said bye-bye. When Lion King, and he was like, Mufasa, and then Scar was like, bye-bye. But not like, what's it called, bruh? So Mike Malone got fired. What this clearly is showing is that he lost the locker room. Don't buy the PR report that says they want this super juiced up energy or for the team to be revived going into the playoffs. I mean, yeah, but they only do that if something catastrophic happened in the locker room. And we may not find out today, maybe later this week, maybe after the playoffs. But the real juice, the real stuff is going to come out. And that's going to be very, very interesting to see. But it's crazy that, like, you're talking about a coach that just won the championship 2 years ago. Every time he plays the Lakers, let's be honest, they put belt to ass. And the team that they lost to last year was constructed to beat that team. So I think it is pretty crazy to go out here and fire the coach and the GM. And it only makes sense if something really catastrophic happened in the locker room. Now, I'm a guy from Philly. Unfortunately, I am a Sixers fan. I know some of y'all watching are also Sixers fans. And it's been hard to talk about the Sixers because it's like, outside of saying what I've been saying for years in terms of like trade Embiid and tank for Coop, it's like, what more can we really talk about? You feel what I'm saying? But now people are saying that the Sixers should look to hire Mike Malone. The Sixers hiring Mike Malone would be the worst thing for them. And this is not because Mike Malone is a bad coach. He's a great coach. But the thing that Mike Malone does is he holds his players accountable. This is the same guy that held the Nuggets accountable because they were apparently not watching film and they had lackluster effort. How is that going to boil down with Joel Embiid? Joel Embiid is the same guy that earlier this season, you had a 24-year-old Tyrese Maxey calling him out for being late to team activities, to always being late. So how is he going to act against accountability? Something that he simply hasn't been subject to in his entire career with the Sixers. The Sixers organization, their team culture, does not hold players accountable. That is why Ben Simmons was treated like this superstar, amazing guy who never put in the work to fulfill his full potential. And part of that was because there was a coddle culture in Philly, not in Philly's not coddle culture, but the team, the Sixers, they had a coddle culture that was Elton Brand, Brett Brown, Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers. These guys, they wasn't trying to address the elephant in the room. That's something Mike Malone is going to do, and I don't see that, frankly, ending up well. The last time somebody really held Joel Embiid accountable was Jimmy Butler, and the Sixers chose Tobias Harris over him. So do y'all really expect Mike Malone, who is known for keeping his players accountable, to work in Philly? The only way Mike Malone works in Philly, works being the Sixers head coach, is if the Sixers fire Daryl Morey. That's the only way. Daryl Morey is part of this NBA culture that they cater to their star players and they bend over backwards, pause for everything that player does. Daryl Morey did the same thing in Houston. James Harden did whatever he wanted. Daryl Morey is obsessed with star power. He comes to Philly and he does the same thing with Joel Embiid. He gives Joel Embiid a 3-year extension coming off a post-season appearance where this guy had one eye and one leg. And y'all actually knew about his injury history and his potential injury in the future with his knee, and you still gave him the extension. It's the coddle culture. So the only way the Sixers can really reach the heights that they want to reach is if they let go of Daryl Morey and they hire Bob Myers. Bob Myers, the executive that made the Warriors dynasty. Bob Myers, the same guy that helped turn around the Washington Commanders. It is not a coincidence that the Washington Commanders asked Bob Myers, hey, could you help us with the hiring process with Dan Quinn and just overall people in the organization? Could you help us out? And we see them have essentially their best season since the early 90s. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous the impact, the intellect, the knowledge that Bob Myers possesses. And it makes complete sense that if Bob Myers wants to leave TV and go back to the NBA as an executive, that Josh Harris opens that checkbook, because I know the Commanders got him paid. I know Jalen Daniels got him paid. And if he cares a lick about the Sixers, he would open that checkbook and give Bob Myers whatever he wants. And I can bet my bottom dollar Bob Myers will change this franchise. And at the very least, change that culture, that sick, twisted, diabolical culture in Philly. That's a fact. That's a certified fact. He will do that. And so I believe that if the Sixers get Cooper Flag, I'm going to literally go on vacation because that will literally be the best thing I've ever had this season. Or I guess am I? Nah, that's cap. That's such cap. See, I be like getting ahead of myself sometimes. I was about to say ever, but the best thing ever was seeing the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I saw them. Second best was 2018, us beating Tom Brady. So I guess I'll say this. The Sixers potentially drafting Cooper Flag at number 1 would be my third greatest memory as a 23-year-old Philadelphia sports fan ever, because he will instantly turn the franchise around and lift the Sixers curse. Like, Cooper Flag is so good that, like, I don't care what curse the Sixers have, he's beating all of that. All of that. Not even the Sixers curse. Whether it was the Kawhi shot, Ben Simmons not working out, Markelle Fultz not working out. Like, he's too good to be subjected to the Sixers curse. Best believe that. And so, yes, it's going to be a parade in our city. If we get Cooper Flag, it's going to feel like the Eagles won the NFC Championship. I don't want to say the Super Bowl, but the NFC Championship. And that's somebody that, man, oh man, if the Sixers get him, that's just going to be phenomenal. And still, if they get that top 5, top 6 pick, you got Dylan Harper, you got Ace Bailey, you got Derek Queen. You got some guys that can still be the future, especially in that post-Embiid era, because that's exactly what the Sixers should be moving to. It's not about building around Joel Embiid. And I think the best case scenario is finding a player that can play with Joel Embiid now, but is set up for success past Joel Embiid. So that's the first priority. But number 2 is just finding a player post the Embiid era. But the whole era of building around Joel Embiid, that's dead. That's dead. That is not happening anymore. It's not. It's simply not. And we all have to just come to that realization that that's just not going to happen. You're not winning a championship with Joel Embiid. And so this brings me to my last point of this episode, and it's this. I think that although it hurts right now, this could be potentially the best scenario for the Sixers. Let me explain. Let's look at the Sixers record right now. Let's look at it and where they stand. You know, they're trash and they're a terrible team. So the Sixers are 23-56. They've already been eliminated from the playoffs. They ended a 7-year streak of them making the playoffs. Still, the Sixers haven't gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals in the Joel Embiid era. I mean, the Sixers were so trash this year that they didn't make the play-in tournament. They didn't make that. You have, is that 15 teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 15 teams in the Eastern Conference. The Sixers are the 13th best team in the Eastern Conference. This season was terrible. But let me ask you this. Would you have rather the Eagles? I'm in the Eagles. Would you have rather the Sixers win 48 games, 50 games, lose in the second round or the first round, and that first round pick, it goes to OKC? Versus this season, the Sixers are so bad, they're going to get that top 6 protected pick, and they could potentially have a franchise changer and franchise player for the next 10, 15 years. I think because the Sixers were never going to win a Super Bowl, I keep saying Super Bowl, because the Sixers were never going to win an NBA championship with Joel Embiid, low key, this season was the best scenario that could have happened because they were so ass, they're now going to be in contention for the number 1 overall pick and at least a top 6 protected pick, and OKC doesn't get their pick. And this is a really good draft class. It's very top heavy. And if you can get a player like a Derek Queen, a Cooper Flag, best case scenario, an Ace Bailey, a Dylan Harper in that top 5, top 6, you're talking about a franchise changer, bro, that you otherwise wouldn't have had. And you have the ability to plan for what life is like without Joel Embiid. Because if we're being honest, the Sixers were never going to win a championship with Joel Embiid. He's not that guy. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's one of the best centers of this generation, but he's not going to be the best player on a championship team. Talent-wise, he is, but the mindset, he's not there. He's not there. You heard Markieff Morris say, hey, look, Joel Embiid, like, hey, I like him, but like, hey, bro, like he got to get in the gym. And this is a guy that he played in Philly. He know his habits. He not capping. He's keeping it real. He from Philly, bro. He's keeping it a bean. Keeping it a bean. So I think in hindsight, although this season obviously was a major, major disappointment, and the Sixers and the Suns are in the same boat of super, super disappointing teams. I mean, outside of the Suns, the Sixers are the most disappointing team this season, and it's not even a debate. But in hindsight, looking back at this and looking at the future, you're looking at a team that if they play their cards right and get a little bit lucky, they can go out here and change the trajectory of their franchise. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It is Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where y'all know I always keep it real. I got my NFL hat on. I got my Super Bowl hat, headphones, and all that stuff. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We are out.